Hello and welcome to another Wednesday drawing session with me, Frank Cho. Today we are going to draw Elektra, the assassin. Now, she was a character first appeared in Daredevil, and she's a Greek assassin and Daredevil's girlfriend. Now, I had this image in my mind where she kind of is sneaking up on you with her sword, or it's not really a sword, it's a sai. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Like a true assassin, where she's like sneaking up on you. And I had this image in my mind, pretty crystal clear. But the funny thing happened, as I was drawing it, the I I didn't like the pose, so I struggled with it, and it's just like the weirdest thing. Sometimes the drawing just flow out of me like water, and some days I struggle. And today was one of those days that I struggled. So I thought the overall pose, with her kind of like hunched over and coming at you, was sound, but just that left arm and her lower bottom proportion, the legs just didn't look right to me, and I struggled. Now, usually when I start struggling with the drawing, I just leave. I just like stop drawing and I just walk away. Just kind of like clear my head and come back with a fresh eyes. But since I was videotaping this, I decided to just power through it to show you guys how much I struggle. Um, and I thought this was a perfect video. So, you can see that I make mistakes, and I am constantly working it, the whole drawing process, the good and the bad. So here I am working on her face. Again, the face is fine, and then I realized that she looked a little too happy. So I want to make her a little bit meaner, almost sardonic, with a kind of like a sardonic smile on her face, with this kind of like a evil glint in her eyes. So I wanted to make her a little bit more menacing. So I lowered her eyebrows into a slight frowning position, and 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 basically went from there. And now her hair, her jet black hair. So she's Greek, so she's very. She has this long black hair. Um, Now, I was gonna make her wavy, kind of like a wavy black hair, because I've seen her both way, where she had like this long black hair and wavy black hair. But I decided to go with the long black hair. Now here's me struggling. So the first pose, where she is standing, kind of like hunched over, leaning forward, just didn't look right to me. So I decided to change it up and have her kind of like jumping down from like a windowsill, like a true assassin. So she snuck in and she's like jumping down. So I had her leg kind of like in a crouching position. And again, it still didn't look right. I just couldn't get the, 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 the drawing between her legs and arms to work. So here I am, just kind of changing the leg to see if that works better. That looks a little better, but it still just didn't look right. So I decided to erase it all, and focus on the hand, focus on the arm, because I like the arm kind of like cocked back, and go back to the first pose, which was her kind of like hunched over and leaning forward. As usually, that's always seemed to like be the case. Every time I draw something, the first pose is usually the right pose. And sure enough, once I decided that the first pose was the pose that I liked the best, I went in and really start tweaking. And here I am working the hair. The hair is great because hair just gives the figure more, makes it more real, and give it that a nice silhouette. And here it is, the scarf, the headscarf. Her tie is kind of like drooping down, mimicking her hair. And here I am working on the sai. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Um, and the deltoid. Um, the guy who can really draw like really sweet deltoid, the shoulder muscle, was Neil Adams. I thought that guy was absolutely just a master. Um, and every time I feel I need to feel inspired, I look at Neil stuff. Neil is absolutely amazing. Like a true, absolutely one of the best comic book artists I've ever seen. And here I am, working on the her weapon, and her kind of like her band-aid kind of wrappings around her arm and leg, which she's known for. And I am just kind of tweaking the hair and the scarf, because it just looked a little too sketchy. So, if you know me, I like clean lines, clean, well-defined lines. Here I am just working on the hair. Decided to go with the long jet black hair, because that was her original appearance, where she had this long jet black hair. At this point, I pretty much figured everything out, and I am erasing it and kind of like redrawing it to give it that clean line. So to get rid of the sketchiness, and here I am. I'm erasing parts of the hair to give it the highlight and the different strands, and working on her eyes, give it that nice dark glint. That since she's Greek, so she give her that kind of that dark Mediterranean exotic eyes that she have, and then working on the hair more. The hair is always fun. I've always enjoyed drawing hair. Hair is like it's one of those anatomy where it just gives gives more life to the drawing. So again, I'm doing the same thing. I like to pose, so I am going back and erasing it, and then and redrawing it, giving it a more cleaner line. Again, I'm a bit of a clean freak when it comes to drawing, so I like to give it like a well-defined line and outline of the body parts and all that. So here I am drawing her weapon, and adding the band-aid. I guess it's not a band-aid, it's a wrapping. That is well known for her costume. And then working on the leg, I decided to kind of tighten up the leg a little bit, and then drawing her sash in the middle. So, and then drawing the legs and her feet. Now the feet is always the hardest to draw, because if you draw it wrong, it looks odd. So so certain artists tend to just not draw feet, but you should able to draw everything if you're a comic book artist. So if you're struggling with something, make sure you just draw that body part over and over again until you master it. So here I am drawing the wrappings. Um, I'm not sure what those wrappings are called. So I guess they're like athletic band-aids. I don't know. So, and then again, I'm just cleaning everything up, giving it a sharper, crisper outline, and adding some more volume to the hair. So at this point, it's pretty much done, and everything turned out pretty good. So I'm just kind of like adding the volume to my lines, and the sash again, and her the ties that are kind of flowing in the wind to mimic the one under her head. And there it is. That's about it. And there it goes. So Elektra, Assassin.